On our journey today, we're going to check out the album cover for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is part 1. So, slide on your backpack and grab your passport and come along with me as we travel back in time. This video is sponsored by Audible Adventures. Kindly sign up for an annual subscription today. It is a great way to support my research and productions. Welcome along, fellow time travelers. This is Scott Cardinal. Thanks for joining me on another photo analysis video. This time around, we are traveling back in time to London in March of 1967. So, sit back and pour yourself a cup of coffee, or a tankard of tea, or a mug of mead, or a flagon filled with any beverage of your choice, and join me around the campfire. And let's start our photo analysis. This photo was taken inside Chelsea Manor Studios, located on Flood Street off of King's Road in London. This photo was used for the front cover of the Beatles' 1967 album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I'm going to talk about this in a series of videos, but in this first one, I'm just going to briefly tell you a bit of history and describe some of what can be seen in the foreground of the photo. But if you want to learn more detailed information, you could do so over at audibleadventures.com. The concept for the cover was called People We Like, and rather than being a mere photograph or artwork like they had done previously, the Beatles agreed that they would all appear in costume as their alter egos in front of a floral area in a specially built set that would incorporate a bit of theater design and create a three-dimensional work of art. During the planning stages, each of the 4 Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, were asked to compile a list of about 10 people that they admired, and then their choices would all be featured as part of a kind of a colorful collage in the finished design. Now, as you can imagine, the record label was not thrilled with spending the amount of money required to create the cover. But it wasn't easy to say no to the Beatles, so they set aside a budget of £3,000. That's the equivalent of £53,000 today. So once the budget was in order, a creative team was immediately put in charge of this creative endeavor, and they were given 2 weeks to prepare for the shoot. During this time, the living celebrities that were listed needed to be contacted, and they all had to sign agreements to make sure that permission was given for them to appear. Amazingly, at least one person did not want to participate, and that was Hollywood star Mae West. She was kind of actually a bit insulted. After all, she wondered why on earth would she need to be part of a Lonely Hearts Club Band? She didn't get it. So the Beatles themselves, they were just so keen on her being part of the collage that they each took to writing and signing letters to implore her to change her mind, which she finally agreed to do. Meanwhile, Beatles confidants Neil Aspinall and Mal Evans and others began tracking down photos, many of which were found through the BBC Radio's picture library. And once they had them, the headshots were photographed and enlarged to life-size on 20 by 16 paper. They were then sent off to be mounted on hardboard. Some of the photos, such as the one of Marlene Dietrich, were printed and mounted full size. And then a carpenter was brought in and he used his jigsaw to cut out the boards. And then to kind of finish it all off, at one point, photographic dyes were used in to tint and color some of the black and white photos. So now that you know a little bit of its history, let's begin in the forefront. On the floor of the photography studio, a wooden frame was built in order to fill with soil and arrange colorful flowers. And little azaleas were strung all around the edges. Red flower heads were then chopped off and stuck on nails to spell out the word Beatles. Beneath that, one of the florist's assistants created a guitar shape out of yellow hyacinths. Positioned front and center of the set is a doll of the Hindu goddess of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. In front of the purple flowers on the left side is a little garden gnome, and above the gnome is a stone figure of Snow White. And behind her is a doll that depicts a man kneeling and has a large head and a top knot. It's called and I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong, go ahead and put it in the comments below, a fukusuk, and it's said to bring good luck. And to the left is a velvet snake, and behind the Japanese stone figure is a tuba. And to the left is a hookah. Now, this may have been chosen by George because of its association with India, or by John Lennon because of its mention in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Directly in the center of the set, behind the flower bed, is a military bass drum. The artist who created the drum skin was named Joe Fgrave, and he previously created fairground-style artwork. In fact, he created 2 different drum skins, giving the Beatles 2 options to choose from for this shoot. One skin used modern lettering, and the other side included Victorian-style lettering. Surprisingly, and you've probably already noticed this, there is no apostrophe in the word peppers. And over here, nestled in the crook of the L, is a swimming trophy that was awarded to John Lennon when he was a kid. Behind that is one of the many busts that John Lennon owned and were, at the time, displayed at his Kenwood home. And they would be seen years later in photographs taken at his home, Tittenhurst Park. And there's a television set that was provided by John Lennon. And in front of the TV is a stone figure of a girl in a green dress. And then there is another stone figure in the foreground in front of the purple flowers. Barely seen beneath the leaves of a palm tree is a figure of an old lady made out of textiles. And on her lap is a cloth figure of a child's doll wearing a shirt with the words, "Welcome the Rolling Stones." And it has been said that that child's doll is meant to depict Shirley Temple. And next to the doll is a Mexican Tree of Life candlestick that was provided by John Lennon. And interestingly, there is a cutout of Shirley Temple right over here. Because this is part 1 of this photo analysis, and I'm trying to keep it from getting too long, I'm not going to get into all the figures in this scene. But just to give you a general overview, the life-size black and white photographs of the celebrities are displayed on hardboards and are on a series of shelves. Notice that photos that show right-side profiles are placed on the left side of the set, and photos that show right-side profiles are placed on the right side of the set. And the ones looking straight on are placed around the center of the set. Altogether, there appear to be between 50 and 60 different faces for this incredibly colorful installation. And so, this concludes part 1 of this photo analysis of the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover. If you want to learn more about this photo shoot and experience what it was like to be there at the time, please check out the audio tours I wrote about it over at audibleadventures.com. Kindly download the Audible Adventures app for your iPhone and Android. In fact, if you can go ahead and do that right now, it would just take you a second. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you have any thoughts about this subject matter, please put them in the comments below and share what's on your mind. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I do look forward to you joining me again for another photo analysis video. In fact, part 2 is coming up right away. So, until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.